December the 3rd, 1998. Before our evening celebration for the inductees into the Soccer Hall of Fame, let's visit the ground where Ned Ducker and his soccer mates first began in 1929. South Coogee Reserve in Russell Road, South Coogee. Tonight's inductees playing in the Soccer West Pro League who have the points criteria or have been a committee member exceeding 10 years will receive their certificate of merit here tonight. We salute them all. So let's sit back and enjoy this history-making evening at our Cockburn Civic Centre.
Good evening to you. Welcome to the City of Cockburn and thank you for coming along tonight. Would you please receive your host for tonight, His Worship the Mayor of Cockburn, Councillor John Riddlefitch. Thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as the Mayor of Cockburn and on behalf of my fellow councillors, it gives me a great deal of pleasure to be able to welcome you here this evening on what is a very, very important night. I'd also like to take this opportunity in acknowledging some of the special guests we have this evening in witnessing of this very important occasion. With us this evening, Mr. Wally Hagan, OAM, JP, Freeman and Mrs. Hagan, Mr. Don Mitchell, OAM, JP and Freeman, Councillor Ray Lees, JP, Freeman and Mrs. Lees, Mr. Miro Sadara, OAM, CMC, JP, and my fellow councillors also who have come along this evening. Good to see them all. Our staff members from the City of Cockburn who have put a lot of work into this particular event are here as well. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, yourselves are also very important people in relation to tonight's function. I'd like to make a special welcome to two gentlemen who happened to play the first game they played on the Speedwood Fruit Growers Reserve, which is only a stone's throw from here, way back in 1929. And they are Mr. Jack Walmsley, who played for the Caledonians, and Mr. George Hagan, who played for the Speedwood Rovers. As I said, they played opposing, well, I haven't said yet, but they played opposing teams, as I've indicated. And of course, they're the only surviving members of that particular game that we're with us here this evening. So I think that's a marvellous feat, and I'd like to hear a round of applause for them. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the establishment of Cockburn Sporting Hall of Fame all came about from a request made by our Domestic Sports Council, asking Council if they would establish a Sporting Hall of Fame. Of course, Council took up the charge and in doing so, recognised the fact that we are a developing authority, and while Council has set directions for that development to proceed, it also takes into account our history. Because we take the view that if we don't know where we've been, then obviously we don't know the direction we're heading in. And so, given the opportunity, Council certainly jumped into it. Of course, it gives us an opportunity to be able to call upon the people who have been inducted and those families of the deceased who are here this evening to receive their certificates on their behalf, to be called up at any time to a function held by the Council, so that their efforts can be remembered. Because as a developing authority, it's so easy to forget our past. And unless we have these things recorded and set in motion, it's very easy for those things to be forgotten. And so it is well part of our efforts in relation to the overall development of our city to take these things into account. And it's so pleasing to see the role of people that we have here this evening. It just shows the importance people place on these sorts of matters. Of course, soccer celebrates the 75th anniversary of soccer being played in this district this year. And during this time, we've had many great games of soccer played in our district. And many people have gone on to represent this district at national and also international level. And I think that is a fantastic thing. Of course, the celebration of soccer is a milestone in the promotion of the game in this district. It has been over all these years. During this time, soccer has become one of the focal points for both leisure and competitive activity for our community. It was the catalyst for what was to come. The establishment of Beale Rovers in 1929 gave rise an opportunity for people to socialise, come together in that format, and also to compete. And of course we know the magnificent crowds we had in those days from the very beginning at the Freak Brothers Reserve. And I know as a lad running around the district, particularly in the late 50s and early 60s, of coming along to the soccer matches that were played here, like so many other people and young people in our district, and how we used to roar for our team, who was the Beale Rovers, the Magpies. And the wonderful occasions we had at the many victories they had in the competition that they played. And of course they played all the top teams in the metropolitan area. And it was pleasing to have a team of that standard within our district. It gave much pleasure to most of us who had the opportunity to be there. And I'm very proud and glad that I, as a very much, not so young these days, but a young person, had the opportunity to actually see the Rovers in action. Of course, the Rovers changed their name to Cockburn United at about the time the council were taking leaps forward in creating the social requirements for our district. And where the old ground was established, of course, council established a bowling club, which in itself produced many champions. So I think we all agree that given the situation, that it is only fitting that soccer is the first sporting event to be inducted in the City of Cockburn Sporting Hall of Fame. And as I said before, given that we were on the very spot where it all started, all those years ago, I think that is certainly something that should have been. In 1962, several members broke away from the Beale Rovers to form their own club. Firstly known as the Bolton Dalmatniks, and then in 1969 as the Dalmatniks, and in 1973 as Beale Dalmatniks. This club went on to represent our district at the highest level of soccer in the state. And of course it carried the flag forward and brought home the bacon, brought home many premierships, which made this district famous for its playing of soccer. Both clubs have experienced success on and off the field, no matter what the name changes were, and are largely responsible for the success of our junior competition, Through these efforts, many players of today have applied their talents, both nationally and internationally. And I think that is something that this district can be very, very proud of. They were both clubs chiefly responsible for our juniors. That is the backbone of any competition. And the work that has been done by not only people of the past that have been associated with those clubs, but people of present day have firmly established our region as a powerhouse in metropolitan soccer in Perth, and something not to be taken lightly nationally. It is very good to see our players gracing the fields and clubs of the eastern states, and also being sought by international clubs throughout the world. And I think that's a testament of what the people in the past, those people involved in soccer today, have created. It just does not create itself. There needs to be a motivation by a lot of people to achieve these sorts of results. Tonight we celebrate the induction of soccer into our Sporting Hall of Fame, and of course it doesn't end there. There will be other sports that will be inducted into our Hall of Fame as well. As I said before, sports such as bowling, who have produced many champions both in the national and international arena, Australian rules football, which has played a very big part in the development of our district sporting wise. And of course, in such things as rowing, which many people may not know, but we've had representatives who represented this district and Australia in the Commonwealth Games and also at the Olympic Games. And many more sports that are played in our district will find their way being inducted into the Hall of Fame. So the Hall of Fame is going to be something that we're looking forward to. Those that have been inducted into the Hall of Fame, of course, have got a lot to look forward to. And of course, it is a very proud moment for them. And I take the opportunity to thank those people who have helped to make this ceremony and tonight a success. From our council staff, councillors who have assisted in this project, and also special thanks to Mr. Beale, who has put a lot of time and effort in getting people together, putting names together, and a man who has been involved in soccer ever since I've known. And as we all know, Alan Beale is recognised in our district as Mr. Football, and I'd like to thank him very much for his efforts on this occasion, and I'd like to give a round of applause for that. Of course, tonight is your night. You're being inducted into the Sporting Hall of Fame, and we certainly hope that you sincerely enjoy the evening. My congratulations to all those who are going to be inducted and receive a certificate, which has been very nicely framed, and I think something that's going to be proudly hung or displayed in your homes. Something that can certainly stay with the family over many, many years to come. And of course, the great work that's been done in showing off the memorabilia that has been put together over so many years. And it's on display. And of course, at the conclusion of the ceremony, you will all be able to peruse that memorabilia and bring your thoughts back to when it first started, or maybe only a couple of decades ago, when the Rovers were still around in that name. I'd like to thank all those people who have come here this evening representing the deceased members of the Hall of Fame. It's good to see so many of you here, and I certainly can recognise quite a few families who have come along to receive the certificate on behalf of those who are deceased. I'd like to thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I hope you enjoy yourself. I'm going to take a lot of pleasure in handing out these certificates to you. So I understand that Mr. Alan Beale will be calling out the names and taking forward the program from here on in. Of course, Mr. Michael Winchester, Council Officer, who will be taking photographs, hopes that once the photographs have been taken and the ceremony here is ended, that we'll be able to rush those photographs down to the Phoenix Park Shopping Centre, have them in the bowl, bring them back, and of course you'll be able to take them home with you. So I'd like to thank Mike very much for putting that in the train, and I don't doubt that he won't be successful because every task that he has and tasks that I've given him, I can say that he's come through with flying colours. So I don't think that he'll let us down this evening. I'd like to call on Mr. Alan Beale to come forward and we can start the presentation. Thanks very much.
When I started playing soccer 65 years ago, I didn't need glasses. Ladies and gentlemen, the procedure is we have a foundation member who founded this club back in 1929, arrived in England in 1928, worked for Mayor of Brindle and Hamilton Road, and it wasn't too long before Ned had all the personnel that were interested in the field kicking the soccer ball. The foundation member of this club is Mr. Ned Ducker. Unfortunately, Ned passed away a few years ago. So on his certificate tonight, we are asking a gentleman that knew Ned from day one to receive his certificate, and then he will hand it on behalf of us all back to Duncan, our librarian, to go to the Soccer Museum. I'll call him Mr. Jack Bosman, please.
Well, seeing I appear on the list here, I thought it was, the idea was for me to say a few words, but I won't be here for very long. I notice the next speaker is Nora Billingham, and of course she's never stuck for words, so might be a bit longer. My association with the soccer club, and Ned Ducker particularly, I was about 1928, I was about 9 years old, and my sister was about, she must have been 19 then, and she, at one stage, Ned looked like being my brother-in-law, but that didn't come about. But I got to know Ned pretty well, and he invited me to go on after the soccer boys in 1928. We used to go up every Saturday. I was 9 years of age. And Billy Sawyer, I know there's Joyce that's here today, he used to make his trucks available for us to go, no such thing as buses to take players and things around, but we used to go up in the back of the truck, winter and summer, sometimes there was covering, sometimes there wasn't, and I got to know all the players at that time pretty well. As far as the Spearwood Soccer Club, and I must make sure that I don't forget that it's now the Coburn Soccer Club, but in 1928 it was only the Spearwood Soccer Club, and I got to know very well such fellows as George Hagan, who's here tonight. He used to play on the right wing, and Ned Ducker, I think he played in the half-back line or the centre half or one of the wing halves, and he had a great sliding tackle. He used to come from a mile back and take the ball and the player and everything with him over the line, a thing which we wouldn't allow nowadays. He get a yellow card for it, so that was standard tactics then. And if you go through, if you have a look at the photos there, I would think that I would know every one of those players personally, of course, apart from George, well, I don't know if there's anybody else that's on the team that's still with us. But anyhow, I knew them, and at the same time, his Honour Mayor spoke about the first match against the Caledonians. Well, I would have been here for that, and I did have the pleasure about 4 or 5 years ago of seeing Jack Walmsley in his home at Modern Park. I can't see him here today, but I know he's here somewhere. And down there, is he? Oh yes, I see him now.
Stand up, Jack.
And we had a wonderful talk about our own team and Caledonian team. Of course, Alan and myself, we used to know fellas that Jack played with, names like Alec Marr, who was in goal, and the big bloke was on the full-back. I had his name a minute ago, I can't think of it now. But I knew them all personally. The forwards, I remember was the two wingers, Davey Burney. I'm mentioning these names, Jack, because you're the one that knows them. And Billy Waddell was on the other wing there. And I can remember those great games they played against Victoria Park and Monument Park and so forth. So we could talk for hours on those. But anyhow, I just thought I'd mention that. And the only other thing I've got to say is I'm so pleased to see everybody here. I suppose I'm in a position where I know about 97% of the people here personally, and if I don't know them, I know their children are here, and I'm so pleased to see you all. So with those remarks, I will accept this on behalf of the Pioneer members and Foundation members, and I'll hand it back to Mr. Duncan for keeping in the archives. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the next presentation is on behalf of the first committee that was formed in 1929. Now there's a young lady here, or she was a young lady then, that followed the Beale Road Soccer Club from day one. Her dad was a very prominent man in this country. All his life, from the time he came to the country from Scotland. And I'd like to call upon Mrs. Nora Billingham.
And you know, when you get to my age, you don't get able to speak freely because after you get along a little way, you get to the same as you started. So I decided that I would just write it down so I could sort of go along. But I'm just going to say good evening, my friends. And first I'd like to thank the council for honouring me tonight and letting me speak. My dad was an instigator when he was, my father was one of the first to be in, well,
On the committee, no?
on the committee, yeah. And he was part of the founders of the soccer club in 1929. And I would like to think that those people up there have a big smile on their face to think that after 70 years, the game is still strong in Cockburn, and it's wonderful to think after all those years, it's still here for us. And that's all I'd like to say.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're all here tonight because we are all sports orientated. And I think you will agree with me that any sporting body that has not got women workers, they're never successful. The first women that started working were mainly the auxiliary women. They made all the first shirts, and they never stopped working with afternoon teas, etc. So on behalf of those women, whose mother was one of them, I call upon to receive their certificate, Mr. L. Hines.
The Spearman Rovers Soccer Club could not have been formed without the help of the ladies. It would be unfair of me to mention any names, as I no doubt will omit some, but the help of the ladies ever since 1929 has been tremendous. Going right back to the time of the formation of the club, it was the ladies who made the first strip that the players had to wear. One good woman washed the shirts every week during the winter period for years. Remembering the soccer club dances in the parish of the Briglow Falls, it was the woman who always provided and prepared the supper. Also the afternoon teas at the home matches were prepared and served, usually under great difficulties. The women organised the raffles for fundraising and did numerous other tasks towards the progress of the club. It gives me great pleasure to receive this on their behalf and hand it back to the museum so it can be looked at and thought about by their descendants and the public in general for the years ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight, the personnel, the players, committee gentlemen have worked very hard over the years to get this club going. Unfortunately, are deceased. But to recognise them, the next of kin basically, who is here tonight to receive the trophy or the certificate which will go in the Museum of Cockburn for future, as else exists recently, for future reference. I call on Diane to receive the father's certificate, Mr. Fred Armstrong. I don't know whether it's his daughter who's here tonight, Frank Bassage. Is Daphne here? Or? Frank supported this club all the time he was living in Cockburn. Frank had a winery, and whenever there was work on, for many years, Frank was there with his Jimmy Donald wine. When we played soccer, Frank would always give an half time with a bottle of wine, and that's why I always reckon they'll get a second half than the first time. Lovely to see his daughter here tonight to receive the certificate with my word, he certainly has. Next gentleman was our president for many years. His father-in-law was on the first committee. A great guy, known to us all, Jack Marshall. Is Beth here or tonight? Beth, please. Beth's wife. Beth was another one that followed soccer
Remember all these names?
Another family that worked for many years for the game. During a few years during war, senior soccer was Analogue, but the juniors kept it going. And there was two families that kept the game going in Cockburn, right through Gordon. It was the Roberts family and the Longer family. Bert Roberts played for many years, a great player, great captain. I'd like to start to call upon his wife, Robert, to receive his certificate. You knew faster that long you chase a bird. Next gentleman also worked many years for the soccer here. At one stage I lived right next door to the fruit grower's ground. We were battling to get the ground in reasonable condition, which meant watering, etc. And the gentleman that always helped us out, he had the market garden right next door. He'd always come and help us water. As a matter of fact, in the early stages, we were watering the ground from his market garden. I'd like to call on Laurie to receive the certificate for his dad, Mr. Laurie Summers, Senior. Another one that you could have called Mr. Cockburn for the work that he did for this club. Not only himself, but his wife and his family. That gives me great pleasure to call on his son tonight to receive his dad's trophy, certificate, Mr. Norrie Packer. Possibly one of the greatest players, and I say this with all honesty, I played next to him for many years. His daughter's here tonight to receive his trophy, and we call him Marilyn West or Marilyn Brenton. George Brenton. This next gentleman was also Mr. Cockburn as far as his soccer ability, and the work he did for this club is incredible. Unfortunately, he passed away at the age of 32, and his son Brian is here tonight to collect his trophy, the big sackage. As you know, we refer to things as the Fruit Gardens and the Market Gardens Association. The Spirit Rovers played the first 2 years at Ginny, and then with junction with the fruit growers, they started playing on the fruit growers' ground. And one of the men behind that was the first Cockburn goalkeeper, or Beale goalkeeper, and his daughter is here tonight to receive his certificate for Mr. Al Dowd. Al Dowd also was for many years secretary of the Fruit Growers and Market Gardens Association. And his father was one of the initial pioneers in the district of Cockburn. Billy Stroyer. What do we say about Billy Stroyer? One of the greatest men I've ever worked with, and I say that with honesty. He was good at all sport, He was the founder of junior soccer in the Cockburn district. He used his trucks for years for soccer. He was a general carrier and collector of finances for the market gardeners in Spearwood. In other words, he was pretty well their secretary in a lot of cases. But that man, I cannot speak high enough of him, and I think all the old Spearwood boys will give me 100% vote on that. Tonight, it gives me great pleasure to call upon his daughter, Joyce, to receive his trophy. Another gentleman, which was the first treasurer of this club, has supported the club for donkey's years. He was a very, very good treasurer. I don't think he ever played, but the work he did for the committee was 100%. He worked for years on the committee. He was the writer of the first song for the Beale Rugby Soccer Club. I'm not going to sing it, but it was appertaining to the tune of Ramona, and it went, Spearwood, we are a premier team again. Spearwood will defeat them next year just the same. We're undefeated, we play the ball and never the man. And our motto is do a good deed wherever you can. The forwards, there's nothing on this earth so far. The fullbacks, they'll stick it out until the last. Through sunshine and rain, we'll be there next year just the same. That was written by George Berry, and it gives me great pleasure tonight to call on Joyce's husband, brother-in-law George, Les Holloway, to come and receive him. The next gentleman was possibly one of the best defenders that soccer's had in Western Australia. He gave our club great service. Prior to our club, he gave Fremantle great service. It gives me pleasure tonight for his wife Shirley to come and collect his certificate to George Lambert. You know, in Cockburn, John spoke early of the international goalkeepers. We've never been short of top-class goalkeepers in this district. This gentleman now was one of those in that bracket. Unfortunately, he played a different era when there was very little state or national games were not played at all, as far as West Australia was concerned. Mick was a great goalkeeper. And it gives me great pleasure to call his wife Dolly for the certificate for Mick Taylor. What do we say about this next gentleman? He worked. If we wanted anything done, we were trying to make the ground presentable down there. Chipped and rocks and God knows what. This gentleman was the gentleman that moved them all. At that particular time, he was amateur wrestling state champion. He was built about 6'4" and goodness knows how, what weight he was. But he was a gentleman. He was a gentle giant. I say that with all honesty. It's a pleasure to have known this gentleman. It gives me great pleasure tonight to call upon his wife to come and present to finish the certificate. Pretty long.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody.
Well, we have one of our deceased inductees to go, and This gentleman was secretary to the over 17 for the club for many years. He was a human dynamo on the field, I say that with honesty. Jack Walton will vouch for that, was the game we played against him in Kelly's. What can I say about Freddie? Freddie was a fitness fanatic. It was a surprise to us all when he passed away at a reasonably young age with a heart problem. He had a lovely family. His sister's with us tonight, but it would give me great pleasure to call upon his son Brian to pick up his certificate tonight, to be presented this certificate. What? You with me again? You want to receive it? Yes. Sorry about that, mate. It could have been Neville. Sorry, Ned. But we wrote through it now. Units of reluctance to the Now, the usual procedure in the soccer world, if we have someone deceased, prior to the game we have a minute of silence. So I think it's only befitting that tonight, all those inductees, our deceased inductees, that I call upon a gentleman that has handled many a soccer match under the same circumstances. I'd like him to come out and do the normal ceremony for the deceased, Mr. Tom Hitchcock. Tom played as Beale. Tom was secretary for a few years and then went referee for about 14 years.
A lot of people didn't know that. We seldom heard it before. And have been lucky enough not to get the name of the book. I thought we'd end with me tonight, so I'll get your name later on. But what I'd like to do now is show, we want to show a bit of respect to deceased players and members of the clubs that have been here tonight, and I'd ask you to rise please and have a minute's silence, if you don't mind. Thank you for showing your respect. On with the game. And all those ex-players that are here, and a lot of them might remember, many a time told me we get a pair of glasses. I've got them now, so just watch this step. I've got it here and I did that to it. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for that minute of silence. Now we get on with the balance of the inductees. The first call upon the great player of both Speward Rovers and Speward Dalmatics, Jimmy Miller. This next gentleman, in 1996, was inducted into the West Australian Hall of Fame. Huey Long. Next gentleman, I haven't seen him here tonight yet, but he's one of the best wingers in the business, Ian Russell. This next gentleman is a member of a soccer family. From the day they hit West Australia, I think it would be around the 1950s or a little sooner, soccer has been their life. And the first of them was Mr. Ivan Petrovich. Next gentleman is also the top bracket of Australian goalkeepers. Unfortunately, he played in the wrong era. Steve Lamazzini. Steve's not here tonight. Unusual for Steve. This gentleman played right from juniors, Beale Rovers, Cockburn United, and I suppose he would be amongst the best juniors that they ever coached, Gary Taylor. The next is also from a soccer family. His grandfather was on the first committee. His father was the first trainer in 1929 for the Beale Rovers, Dennis Packer. What do I say about the next chap? I don't know at times whether you would have preferred tennis or soccer, because he excelled in both. Keith Spratt. Another one that scored a terrific amount of goals for Cockburn. He was an outstanding striker, Alan Halliday. Unfortunately, Ray Morton's not here tonight, but he gave outstanding service on the field of play as well as secretary for a few years. So he's asked me to call on his mate, who played in defence with him for many years, to receive his certificate, Jack Babbage. What do I say about this next chap? He was following Beale in 1929. I think he was treasurer for the club for 25 or 30 years. Terrific inside right, as the old language goes. One of the best heads I've ever seen in soccer. Jack Bosman. Beale Coburn Junior days, Beale Junior days, went on to be one of the best fullbacks in the state. I hope he's here, I haven't seen his face around. Bobby Harris. Something must have happened with all these and said that were coming. Well, I've got to speak well of this young bloke. One of the best centre halves in the business. I can honestly say, a couple of the crack forwards of this state that kicked a lot of goals, never scored a goal on him. My own son, Robert Beale. I'm just saying that nothing I can say which one is either Irish Gaelic or Scotch Gaelic, but I'll start with Irish Gaelic. Supporter of the club since 1954 and still supporting the club. Alec Wade. Irish Gaelic. The young chap started playing soccer with Beale when he was 7 years old. He had to play because I was coaching him. But the whole point was, he gave great service for many, many years to Beale and Coburn, Brian Beale. Remember all these old players saying, oh, he's changed. This gentleman, I must comment on his service to the club, as well as his playing ability. And not only was this gentleman service to the club, but when we moved from Fruit Grove 1, which is where the bowling club is, to Fruit Grove 2, we had quite a bit of work to do at different times on filling in holes and there's been a new ground and that. And you'd pop in either Saturday or Sunday and he'd be working there, but not on his own. His wife would be helping him, shovel and all. Archie Sparrows. We talk, and I often talk about the capabilities of Jack Walton. You know, Jack was top roving centre half, one of the best in the state, and he proved it by playing for the state. Well, we had a lad in this field, but I think learning his football, Jack, and I say this with honesty, Jack, he was a great roving centre half, great clubman, and one of the best this club has ever produced. Never Paul. See the height of the Neville, he used to out-jump 6'2" blokes and hit him. Mind you, he was a good gymnast. The gentleman played with Coburn for quite a while, and then whilst playing with Coburn rugby league, and when he came good again, what did he do? He goes and plays for Dallies. But never mind, he's given Dallies great service, and not only has he given Dallies great service, but he's given soccer a great service with his sponsorship. Derek Coombs. Must go waylaid. Another one of the soccer families to give both the field and Dallies great service. Frank Petrovich. I don't know what Angelico Petrovich gave his son for meals, because they both played many, many games for Dallies, well over 100, went east and made the Australian team. So it gives us great pleasure tonight for his father, who was also one of the first Beale juniors, then went to Dallies, was one of the founders of Analogue, to present the certificate to the father for Jason Petrovich. Gentleman who played many years and very good footballer. He'll give great service to the club. Unfortunately, in latter years, he's had a little bit of trouble, health problems, so he's not with us tonight, as much as he would love to be. And he wants tonight his certificate to be collected by Peterborough. The name is Jasper. Just give Caleb great service. He's a great player. I can tell a bit of a story about this chap and his wife. It's clean though. Alright. He played 13 years with the reserve team. Occasional game in the first team. Also was captain of reserves for many years. And also on the main selection committee for many years, no other than Bonnie White. I can remember this chap quite well, brilliant footballer. We were playing a game, one particular game, it was a pretty important game. This particular player, he was all asleep first half. He came up at half time, and I was coaching, he started going to look at me. And I just said to him, "Look, you want to play, don't you?" Because, you know, sit the bench, go and shower. He wanted to play all right. He come out second half and he kicked about 3 goals. Rolling canvas. Still good mates. One of his rebel mates, I know they're rebel mates because they used to often the casino and here, there and everywhere, but this particular chap was a brilliant midfield footballer. But I don't know how he'd go today because he looks to be about 3 stone overweight. Archie McIntyre. The gentleman was in the 1929 squad, was a trainer. We have delivered one from Norrie, haven't we? Yeah. We done Norrie? There must be 2 on. He's lucky he's got 2 mate. He must have been a coach. This gentleman I watched play many a game with Dallies. He was a Dallies player. Not a skilled or caliber player, but at the same time I always admired his courage, I always admired his game. He was one of those defenders as a forward, if you played on him, I'm too old to play on him, but the forward that did play on him, you knew he was there. Frank Message. We have 2 special guests here tonight as far as I am concerned anyhow. 2 gentlemen that played in the first game in the Full-Grown Reserves. John mentioned earlier. One for Callings, one for Spielwood. The gentleman for Spielwood, he played outside right, he was a brilliant footballer, and he gave all, and not only himself, but his brothers. They're here tonight also. And I'd like Wally to come forward with George, and let's present it to George. Is not the best of health these days, in a wheelchair, but isn't it lovely to see him with us tonight? 70 years on to the time he first hit the ball to the future. Jack, would you like to come and have your photo taken with George, please? Mr. Walmsley? I went that close to the podium, so I thought I might do that.
Smile, Dad. Smile.
Look happy, right? Go around the floor.
Okay. Thank you.
Another one of our lads made for nobody else at the Beale Road in Cockburn. He gave it all, a very good striker, and as a matter of fact, he was pretty well playing in position on the field. Unfortunately, he's tonight been working for years now, living for years in Karratha, so to represent him tonight, to receive his certificate, his brother Dennis.
George Hayden for outstanding game of soccer in
What do I say about this next chap? I just don't know what to say, to be honest with you. I struck him back a couple of years back at a diabetic seminar, and he walked in. I hadn't seen him for many years. He came and sat next to me. We got talking on diabetics. Then I heard the nurse call him up to look at his book. She said, what's going on here? She said, look, what's all them reading? Oh, he said, you know, he said, at night, he said, you've still got to have your drink of wine, you've got to have this, and you've got to have that. So I said, Bill, there's no pain, mate, there's no gain. Billy Goodrich. Bill was treasurer for many, many years. Bill used to give it all when he played, and he was our treasurer for 7 or 8 years. It's been a long time. I remember this young guy in his junior days. He was another one that gave the ball, and he was another one that left Beale to go to Delhi's. Believe it or not, when Delhi started, we lost a complete team in 1 week. It was pretty hard to come by and make it. No, we survived. That's why we're still here 70 years on. This chap gave all, and since then, I suppose, the last 20 years, he's worked hard and damn hard in soccer administration to try and improve the overall aspect of our game in Western Australia. Mr. Len Baffert. Gentleman was another one of following soccer from day one. Great mates with our minds. He was also the best man at my wedding. Unfortunately, he's very ill, but it's great at least for him to be inducted into the Cockburn Sporting Hall of Fame. He was a good player, and also a very, very good secretary for many, many years. I'd ask on his best mate to come forward to receive the certificate, Mr. Al Hines. I'll tell you a little story about John while we're waiting. We went down to Bunbury one weekend on their motorbikes. We were about 17 or 18. We headed back, and as we got along to the white place, a tree had fallen right across the road, and I hit the lure, didn't I? Of course, we finished up down here in the swamp. And Johnny got up and he held onto the fence like that. I said, "What's wrong, John?" He said, "I don't know whether to hunt or to spew." Another young fellow that's done well for the game, Australian champion, goalkeeper. What can I say about him? Come on, Dad, come and pick up his trophy. Michael Petrovich. All these lads are playing for Australia. John said earlier, all ain't their soccer in the field. You can find your dad to quickly get your ball. If you go to a soccer match to watch players, this was one player who was a credit to watching. His skills, his movements on the park were outstanding. He played for Coach Coburn for a few years and also played for many years for Spirit Dalmatics in their heyday. Michael Smith. Mike's not here, unusual too for Mike. What's something must have happened? This gentleman has given his life to soccer. I don't know how many years he's actually given, because I don't know what age bracket it was when he started, but he was pretty old when he finished. He gave Fremantle Britannia valuable service, came across to Coburn when they folded, and he's been a great asset in administrative acceptance to Coburn for over 30 years. Ronald Green. Gentleman played, he coached, and I suppose you'd say he's really one of the characters of the game. Today the character becomes a lot of so often in sport, any walk of life. But this gentleman was a real character. Great footballer, when I say great footballer, Peter Burris. Any beautiful? This is another gentleman that started playing his soccer at a very young age. It was a case of having to, because he had two brothers that were kicked him to death. But he could give great service to the Spirit Rover Soccer Club. Great footballer, no matter what position you put him in. And being as I was coach, he got a bit of a run around at times. It's not my brother, Jeffrey Beale. No, he's still got his Spirit Rover badge on. We played one of the Charity Cup back in 1950. One of the main gentlemen that worked at midfield with perfection. Not only that particular game, but other games also. He was a great player. His dad also, prior to him, played in Hamilton Hill Field games years ago. No other ever taken. gentleman came to Beale Rovers, the fullback. Remember Mr. Gain, he was a very good fullback. Then when he got to old playing, he went treasurer for about 8 years, and believe it or not, he's still following Cockburn City to this day. Unfortunately, he's off to Tasmania this weekend, I think it's Tasmania. But I'll call on his mate to receive it. Irish Young Black. Well, this jacket Will on wheels. We all started playing, but Beale Rovers was kids. He was one of them. Played fullback all his life. And when we was getting the ground going, we didn't borrow it, they gave it to us. Remember the old rollers that they used to use, the horses used to pull to flatten the roads? I don't know, as a matter of fact, Big John, I don't know if it's still in the corner down there now, but the wheel, the rolling section. But we went down and we went into the Fremantle Council yards in Stephen Street, just opposite Stephen Street Reserve. Anyhow, what are you laughing for, Ray? You probably had something to do with it. But anyhow, we towed it from Fremantle to Fruit Grove. George Brenzy did the welding on it to make it so it could be towed. And believe it or not, before we played on this ground down here, it was fast and good. Jack used to, I've given the word out, haven't I? He used to bring his tractor up and end it over the back, roll it out. This particular day, you want to tell the story, Jack, when you come out? You don't want to. But anyhow, this particular day, Jack's rolling around, and what did he do? We used to put stones on the top of the tray, and weigh it down a bit, you see. And Jack throws his cogs, doesn't he, on top of the stone, and away he goes on the ground. Well, next thing you know, his togs are missing, and he's run over it. So I tell you what, he had to straighten out all his gear before he could play that particular day. But he's been a great asset to this soccer club. The service that man's given us is incredible. Jackie Babbage. This gentleman played a few seasons in reserves, then went secretary for a few years, and then took up refereeing. He was one of our state's best referees. He did a few international games, and we're proud to call him a Cockburn lad, Tom Hitchcock. The gentleman played reserves for a few years and then worked on our committee for a few years. Then he was one of those that went and found the bug and formed young athletes. Fair enough, we make it back last, playing wise. So I'd like to call upon the President of the Delhies, or ex-President, the ex-club I suppose I would say, down in Cockburn City. I'd like to put Angela over here to come forward and receive George Ruvassis. George had a brother that came out under George. He was away, he was the best football player ever played on Fruit Grove Reserve. But unfortunately, he went in for a couple of years and he went east to finish his career. Many years, an excellent player in the Beale club. Then he took on secretary for quite a few years, but he was one of those that, when the chips were tough, he got going. He supported and played so well for soccer in this district. Derek Poolsfield. he's been a good clubman, hasn't he? What wants to be done around the club. If he wasn't there, his dad would be there. So I don't think he's here tonight, but I think his dad is. And I call on Tom to receive Dragon's certificate, please. Dragon, please. This is another one of the Australian goalkeepers. Travelled the world playing soccer for Australia. Played for Cockburn United. Played for Delhi. One of the best goalkeepers in the business. Is Robert Sabika here tonight? If not, Angela, can you please come and accept it on behalf? Sorry, Angela. Another one of the true blue families of the old Stewart Rovers days. He and his family give great service to soccer and Cockburn. He was a midfielder and a darn good one at that. I lost count of the amount of games he played. Bobby Dixon. Another who played very little first team football, but I think he played about 12 years in the reserve team. Another one that was always there to give the assistance of the work that had to be done for Fruitgrove Reserve. Pretty Floyd. This gentleman must have worked for Cockburn United at the time of Cockburn United in '65. It wasn't much after that ago he worked. When we were working down at our new venue, we had to get extra water and extra work to be done on that. And I'd go down there at night to work and someone was always there to give me a hand. It was this gentleman, but he only didn't he did help me. He helped the club, coached the women, coached the juniors, Tom Pleasant. The success of any club is the body that controls it and run it. If they're good, you'll find 99% of the time the club is good. This gentleman works and still working for the Dalmatic Club, or now Cockburn City. I'll have to have a look at it now today. Dinko Don Djokovic. Ireland will take a presenter. Civic presenter Ireland Petrovic. Gentlemen, I don't think he ever kicked the ball in anger anyhow. But he was always there and has been there since day dot to assist the team in every way he can. We had Irish Alec, well this is Scotch Alec, Alec Black. What is a club without a challenge? I don't know what to say about this chap because you saw him when he was quiet as he is now. It's not too bad. It used to be, in the early days, you used to have to supply your own linesman. And he used to turn out every Saturday for years after year after year. Plus the work he did on the committee, and still indirectly helping the club. He was one of the best linesmen. I think at times he's better than the half referee linesman today. But he was immaculate. He was always there working for the club. And you'll hear a little bit more about him later on, Mr. Ray Lees. I haven't buy a new pair of shoes for this young chap. But anyhow, what do I say about him? All the debates and arguments we had over the years with clearances to players, there's only one that I ever objected to. And that was when Dallas took a complete team away from us back in the 1960s. This young bloke was one of the best juniors I've ever seen kick a ball. Well, we want to try and hang on to him if we can, but the use was trying, but we at least tried. But he turned out to be a top player, top goalkeeper. What more can I say when both his sons played for Australia? Analogue Petrovic. I might say Analogue was one of the few that are still working to try to get his whole system of soccer changed. This chap came out from England, the longer you get out, he was Liverpool. But needless to say, I would say he was possibly the longest president that the club has ever had. He worked very hard for the game and was an inspiration to a lot of his fellow countrymen that came along with him to the game. We worked for years, played a few games, but mainly worked for years. He had a son that was a very good player, Ron McKinley. One of the greatest finds Cockburn United ever had, I say this more, ever had. When Fremantle, Britannia, came across to Cockburn, we got several of their players, an open invitation. And one of them, I can honestly say would be in the top 10 footballers. I'd have to select if I was asked to pick 10 footballers that I'd seen. His ability was incredible, but he would have been a lot better if he just trained a little bit harder. A bit like old Spano Jenkins. Some of you old may remember Spano Jenkins for South Travel. I had the honour one year to play a season with Spano in 1945. And Spano was the worst bloke on the park for training. By God, getting there on the Saturday, he was the best bloke on the park. But proves the point, you know, what happens on the Saturday that count. But this gentleman was a brilliant footballer, Billy Beale. I'll tell you a little story. We went up to, we were playing Kelly at Esplanade. Bill's Scarborough found. Bill's Scarborough found, so we had to list him on the reserve bench, you see. And he got there just before half time, so he'd come on second half. And he was that fresh and he ran through everybody, he kicked about 3 goals. So we reckon Bill should only play one half and went on. No. He stuck it out and I like sure he was a brilliant footballer. This is another one of the best goalkeepers in the country. Unfortunately, in his era, there wasn't the opportunities. But he was a member of our charity cup side, played many games. The Spirit Rovers, Len Pearson. what do you say about a player that takes after his father in a lot of ways? Tough, gives you 90 minutes full ball. If anybody gets in his road, got to help them. One particular day we were playing group, I was still here, we were playing the Greek side, things weren't going too good, and some bloke come on the field and taken from some of the players. The first bloke there was flipping off was Eddie, Frankie. Is Eddie here? Not here. I should give it to Billy just a while ago. Another young fellow that was from day one was always around to work for the club. Still working for the club. Never played a great deal, played reserves quite a bit, never played a great deal in the top division. But as a worker for the club, he was outstanding from the point of view that his grandfather was always there. If he did the thing wrong, his grandfather was Sir Johnny. Billy, would you come and stick Johnny's certificate, please? Johnny. Next gentleman, he was another tough nut. From juniors right to the seniors football. And he had one place, that was full ball. If you got any growth, I'll help you. I'll have a little bit more to talk about this young guy later on. Help out maybe. After many years of service. When you come to a new country, it must be pretty tough. My mum and dad came out when I was only 2, so I don't know too much about the transition when you become a senior. But this gentleman did, and he's been an acquisition to this district, to his coaching. He spent a lot of time with juniors and seniors, played with himself, very good goalkeeper, and has worked the last 4 years to try and improve the system of our soccer in West Australia. Peter Todd. He was there regular, no different to what he'd been doing for 40 years in the Field Rover days. Terrific fullback, one of the best. Al Myers.
The man that's been doing all the talking and calling out all the names and giving us all the magnificent history of players is Alan Beale. And finally, the last certificate to be handed out is in the name of Alan Beale. I'd like to call Alan forward to receive his induction. Of course, before I call on to say a few words, I'll just say congratulations once again to all those people who have been inducted into the Hall of Fame. Those that are deceased and those people whose families have received the certificate on their behalf, and those who are with us today and have given so much to the game in our district over that particular time. As we know, there was a very, very hard criteria that needed to be adhered to in order to receive induction, and of course that criteria was cut, whether you were a player or a field, or whether you were a committee man or an official or took part in the game and gave good service to it over a number of years. And I congratulate you very much. Of course, the game goes on, and I think all the inductees have been involved with one club or the other. And it's been going on in Cockburn for 70 years. And obviously, things have been done right to survive that long. 2 clubs were formed, and now today we have an amalgamation of both clubs to meet the needs and demands of the game where it's going in Australia today. And I'm sure that decision was a very wise decision. It's going to give us the ability in this district to produce soccer players of fine quality and give us an opportunity in this district for people to go along and watch good soccer. And I think and I hope that it's going to be a very, very good and strong success. The knowledge of the game, of course, if you want to know about knowledge of the game in Cockburn in particular, you can't go past Beale. I'm sure that there's a lot of people here this evening who have got knowledge of the game, but Alan has always put himself at the forefront of stirring the pot, if you like, to get something done. And when he came and saw me in relation to this particular function, of course, and with the policy of the council in mind, of course, I jumped on it. And it's good that Alan has done all the work that he has. He's helped us greatly. I'm sure that tonight will be a success that it has so far without his input. I'd like to call upon Alan Beale to say a few words. Thank you.
I've been asked more or less talk about over the years. We've come a long way since then, and his players started kicking the ball around at South 2G, especially in facilities. Our first change room, there was no showers, and a limestone shed about 3 metres square. And you could not shut the windows because they had long waterway. Moving to the fruit grove, which was club headquarters from 1931 till the early 1970s, still no showers, and thunderbox toilets. After the war, an ex-military hut was purchased from Melville Camp. The players and officials had busy bees, cut the building in half, transported to the Fruit Grove Reserve. It was erected on the west side of today's bowling club parking area. And what about the showers? Well, there was no showers because there was no skiing water. In those days it was filled, so it was connected up direct to the pump. And our visiting teams were brought out on their first visit for them to have a shower, not on their second visit. The reason why the water, being direct from the well, was not cold, it was freezing. that all ended when the committee of the day took their ground so the bowling club could get started, and that was over 30 years ago. All happened close to where we are tonight. We were to gain as the council built a new club, new ground, where today's parking areas we park tonight. We had a level pitch, the Fruit Grove was a metre out of level, after we'd done about 2 years work on it, pick the shovel. A new brick change room, an ice room for the ladies for their afternoon teas. Fruit Groves, one had a bow shed and kerosene tins to boil their water on, and open fires. Things certainly have changed over the years. When the ground changed in May, the committee of the day approached the Soccer Federation for our code to operate under a regional system. Needless to say, 30 to 40 years on, we are still chasing that goal. What about a man, Peter and Angela? Still chasing that goal. Fremantle City, then known as Britannia, we're closing its doors, so we approach them to become members of our new concept. They gladly accepted to become members of the new name of Cockburn United. It was Cockburn's gain, as we received several very good players, as well as administrators. And they are amongst our inductees here tonight, true Cockburn members. When the Fruit Groves and Market Gardens handed over their deeds to the council on the 20th of March 1963, proviso was that the soccer club had to be happy with the lease drawn up by council and the soccer I think most of you know the club's history from there, especially the part Alex has played over the years. But I think John covered pretty well in his initial speech, opening speech. Happenings over the years. I might even poll one or two others during this time. I will ask the person concerned some stories to please stand and tell you the rest. In other words, if I start a story, I might ask someone to finish the story. So be prepared. Over the time, I wrote down about 30 average happenings, at least 30, and I picked out half a dozen what I thought was the best. Otherwise, I just got a little take here, so hurry up. The stuff is getting old. The finally, the game at Southview G, when Neville Block and I was only 16, we were selected in the first team. Jimmy Howie was our captain at the time, and also a pretty good boxer. Addressed the opposition, saying, these two young lads are playing their first senior game. Any of you players on there, he says, put the dirt in, he says, you'll answer to me. That was his warning. At least so we could get that day and play what they made up later. On that particular day, I was fortunate enough to score a goal. And a young woman of the day, who was a soccer fanatic, ran onto the ground. And what did she do? Nora, finish that off? Where is she? Nora, would you like to finish what you did that day? Want me to finish it? What did she do? She ran on and kissed me. She ran right on the park and right across the park and kissed me, and I let her wash the wet. What about a player throughout his league? And thinking he would receive immediate treatment, thinking he would not receive immediate treatment, we took him to a doctor in North Park. And to our dismay, when the doctor came down to our car, his reaction was, my word, it's bad. Just wait a while whilst I go and get my medical book. And off he went to his clinic and come back reading his book. Yeah, that was Jack Barrett. Jack was going to ask Jack to respond, but Jack was a little bit shy. What's wrong, Jack? Bit shy tonight. And Hughes walked it. Well, there's one story which I think needs telling. As you know, the pump the council used today, just down here, a couple hundred yards down. The fruit grove started back in the 1920s, and we finished it, the soccer club finished it because we had water to the ground. Until, as I said, we got that water going, Morris Summers used to pump it from his house out here onto the ground. We went down one day to start the pump, and it would not go. So, Ray, will you tell the story, please?
Yeah, well, I use the microphone.
Yeah.
You don't mind?
Yes, the pump, the well is still down there. It's about, I think, 90 to 100 feet well. And as Alan said, there was no water for the showers. And I think the game was being played, there was no showers because there was no water. So they said, right, you get out of the pump and start bleeding. So on the Saturday afternoon, down I went to bleed the pump and got down there, there was a big snake sitting right on the pump. So I thought, now, we're in a bit of a predicament there because I'm not going to go by that snake. So I went up top again and Norrie Packer, old Norrie, went home and got his shotgun, went into the gun and went down, blasted the snake, bled the pump and they all had the shower.
I'll tell you another snake story. And I had my mate, Alfie, would he finish it? But he said, no, I'll tell you and tell the story. Well, when we had our new change room, the back external toilet, against the toilet, we had a 6x4 cabinet sort of thing. We used to keep our lime and nets and all that sort of thing. Well, this particular day, I walked in, I was the first in, and as I walked in, what should there be but a dirty big snake? And as I came in, I boxed him in, you see, because he couldn't get out the door. And I think he died. He threw at me through the air. I could still visualise it as clear as a bell. Right under the left, and just looking all my life. And he missed me, fortunately. So got out the door, shut the door. Young fellow was there at the time, helped out me, was helping us mark the ground, etc. So he said, all right, I'll fix him. She'll be back in 10 minutes. He went over and brought back his double-barrel shotgun. So he gets into the open the door, gets, where is it? So he climbs up, you run on one side and box the other side, so he straddled them too. He said, now move that box. And as we moved the box, there's this damn snake looking at him. So he blasted the box, blasted the head off the snake, until the day they knocked that change room down, there was a hole in the concrete about that big. So we got the snake, hung it up the bowling up the way, we hung it up the bowling up, people were letting them know there was a snake around, and hanging up with his head off, it was 5'10". So it wasn't as good as the two guys, yeah. So I always been lucky that night. Soccer dances were held at the Parish and Fruit Growers Hall. This particular night we had the dance at the old Fruit Growers, which was only 20 acres that way. I got top hill. And what do I say, Angelica? Croatian or don't see Yugoslav, do I? Well, we'll go back to the old say that there's quite a few of them days there who could follow Croatians or whoever it may have been, today's termination. And all the women used to come with their daughters. They had a torch about that long. I don't know whether it was for a waddy, what it was really for protection, I don't know. So what we used to do, we used to duck around about 11 o'clock, 10:30 at night. We'd turn off the main because the moment it was dark, I'll come all these torches. I don't know what the story was, why they gave the big torches, but we were going to the girls, their mothers, and I got them torches soon, we put them into operation. It was probably the worst game that we ever had. And Jackie Davis and all the rest of you boys here tonight will remember it. We played Soper, which was a new team. Soccer. I'll still say Soper. No, that's okay, Soper. But anyhow, we played them in a heavy ground up around 3rd Avenue area of Basildine. Left, that road goes like a long road. Anyhow, we're to change in the local garage at the end of a little short road, cul-de-sac, and we had to walk half a mile to the ground, see? And the ground was right smack bang next to the cemetery tip, you know. Wasn't very pleasant. It was only sand. So the game got started, and I'll bring your name up in a minute. Anyhow, the game got started, and we weren't going too long. Bloke got me in the box, and just out of the box. So I had a free kick to straight and so forth. And I thought, well, if there's going to be any more of that sort of playing, I'll make sure I'm in the box next time we get a penalty. And that's just within 10 minutes, that's what happened when I had to be in the box that time. I got blocked again. Referee give the penalty. Well, to this day, that penalty was never taken. As fast as we put it on the spot, one of the places would kick it off. And then we turned around, and there was little Freddie Sanders and 2 or 3 more, 20 yards further back. Remember Neville? Further back, and now we've got a real old sing-ding on. Anyhow, one thing led to the other. As I said, that penalty was never taken, because as fast as it was put down, it was kicked off. Then they started throwing sand at the boys. Pick it up and screw it up around. It's just sand. And needless to say, that was the worst game I would say that we played in. So it was a cup game, because they were right at the division what we were. But anyhow, they played it at 3 or 4 weeks' time, and it returned back out in Fruit Growers. I think it would be the biggest crowd, because the press picked it up, it was the biggest crowd I think that we ever had for soccer match in Fruit Growers. Needless to say, won that game. But that would be one of the worst games I think we've ever played in. It was just abominable. I'll ask the gentleman now to tell us a little story also about we were going to play Missouri. Missouri had the best polling, and Fruit Growers ground was all open. So on committee we decided what we're going to do. And one gentleman came up with a brilliant idea. Shut me on the right. About the fence. Oh, I think I may be the instigator of the first enclosed soccer club in Western Australia, because we used to take the till, we were rose to myself, we'd take the till around the line, we'd probably get about £1 and sixpence or something, not very much, but sixpence probably, that's what we could afford in this area at those times. So went down to Swan Hardware on a Saturday morning, brought 2 rolls of netting, cost me £3.10, and come and run from tree to tree. And I think we charged 2 shillings took about 25 pounds that day, so we did very well. So I'd say it's the first round of clothes in West Australia. Back in 1948, 3 teams finished up the season on equal points. We were one of them. But that would not have been the case. About 3 games prior to that, we were playing one of the top teams, one of the 3 teams, at Jaffrey. And the ball got up into their forward line, out of the fence line, and the referee's whistle blew. And that's the defence stopped, and the whistle blows, and the opposition side put the ball in the net, and the referee points to the middle of the goal. Well, it was that goal that cost the premiership. Mr. Boston will review out this fought the case of the powers to be. Didn't do any good because this other team was too hard with everything. And his excuse was the referee at the hearing, I'm sorry, but I run that he admitted he fell down a hole and accidentally blew the whistle. Now, this is honest, he accidentally blew the whistle. It cost us the premiership, but they still got away with it. That was one of the saddest days, I think, of our sporting life. Premiership, we were all still young, back in 48, started the war, you know. It was pretty tough. I mentioned before we lost the team to Delhi, which we mates still. And another team that we had a little bit of to do with the starting was Fighter. Some of our players went that way, but in the early days, one of the main men behind the formation of the tricolour was Frank Stasinelli. Well, Frank Stasinelli was playing for Beale Rovers. And we were up at Swan Valley Ground one day, and things were pretty tough, you know. We were in at half time, and I said, come boys, I said, we've got to lift our game up a little bit more if we want to win this thing. And Frank turned around to me and said, Harold, he says, how can you play? How can you play? They're like a team of horses. So any that knows Swan Valley are all big blokes, and they were all big teams. They were pretty fair in the long term. Yeah. Well, I think I've borrowed you enough tonight. Our things in general, but I would like to conclude. Being in Cockburn City for a Sporting Hall of Fame. In our 70 years, Cockburn City's inaugural year, our Hall of Fame was one of the merger of the 2 clubs in our 70th year. That's excellent. May I, on behalf of the soccer in Cockburn and the sports personnel that are here tonight, may I thank the Council for taking up the challenge as discussed by the Domestic Sports Council in 1997. Cockburn City Sporting Hall of Fame, I visualise it growing to bigger and better recognition for our city's sporting personnel. No doubt there are some we have missed tonight, along with well advertised in the papers, so all's well, there will be others to say in a few years. We also wish for the other sporting teams to take up the challenge. I also thank the ladies of the council staff, as well as Duncan, our Chief Librarian and his staff, for the efforts they have all shared to make tonight's Hall of Fame an evening we can all remember. I'd also like to thank my granddaughter, Narelle. Thank you for doing your filming tonight. We wish you all the Merry Christmas. God bless.
Thank you very much, Alan, for that history of the game and the personalities that have represented this district ably well. I've only got one task left to perform, and that is, of course, to thank you very much for your attendance. To be in your company is an honour, and I'd like now to extend some of the famous old-fashioned hospitality in the City of Cockburn and ask you all to share this up with us. Thank you very much.
Don't you think we all were privileged to see history in the making here tonight? So lovely to meet so many of your old club mates, and all in the Cockburn Civic Centre, only metres from where most of you played many games. The gentleman I said could not be with us tonight because he was in Tasmania was no other than Ian Connolly. Sorry, Ian. Isn't it befitting that our first emblem was the magpie? So it is befitting that we close our video with so many magpies on the move, as Cockburn City will be on the move to the top of the league table. Memorabilia over the years. Mr. Ned Ducker, our founding member who came to Australia in 1928, working for Mayor and Brindles in Hamilton Street, Hamilton Road, and founded the club with all his mates in 1929. And that was his first team taking at the South Coogee Reserve. History certainly in the making tonight. First league game was against Caledonians, Stewart on the left and Kelly's on the right. Memorabilia, 70 years of soccer. Certainly over the years here, a lot of history in the memorabilia Spirit Library. Petkovich brothers, Ivan, Angelico and Frank. Tickets to our wind-up over the years. Juniors in the 50s. Several of these lads have been inducted into the Soccer Hall of Fame here tonight. Basically spent their leisure time playing soccer. 5 of our real old stalwarts have followed the club from day dot. Archie Patterson, Mr. Nolan, Sid Schofield, Frank Packham and Billy Morton. Memorabilia, it's quite a bit of it. Well worth a look at. Beale Park in 1998. The east area of Beale Park was the market garden of the Damdanovich family, and on the west side was the Honeysett's florist garden. Next to the railway line was several acres belonging to Watsonians. Watsoni used it as a holding paddock for hundreds of pigs. Where our parking area is off Kent Street was Spearwood's first post office and general store, owned by the Stroyer family. Today it is Cockburn City's training ground, as well as a playing area for our amateurs, ladies and juniors, and in the building complex is the office of Cockburn City. Cockburn City's games are played at Dalmatnik Park, so the merger of clubs has also been a merger of playing facilities, which is so important for the success of Cockburn soccer. Certainly we have come a long way from a 3 square metre change room with no windows at the South Coogee Reserve and cold showers straight from the well. You have seen a little of the memorabilia at the Spirit Library. Pay it a visit on the opening hours. as it is soccer history. On the verge of our old fruit growers' ground. Yes, history in the making. I hope you have enjoyed viewing Soccer's Hall of Fame. God bless. Classified as the early days of the bowling club, the changeover of soccer club from fruit growers 1 to 2. There was a sign that was erected, bowling club sign, the Spearwood Rover Soccer Club old sign. This sign was erected for new membership. That is the old soccer ground, machinery, operating to level it all out, cut and fill. Take note of the gardens, market gardens in the background. That one there was Laurie Summich's old garden, where he used to be a great acquisition, of old clubhouse. A great acquisition to the club and doing a certain amount of watering in the early days of the changeover. Sorry for this chattering, but unfortunately the 8mm film was getting fairly old, it's getting on to 30 years old, and earthworks for the bowling club and a new soccer ground. In Cockburn City, soccer ground today. I think it is quite befitting we finalise our video of the City of Cockburn Sporting Hall of Fame of an interview we had with our founding member, Mr. Ned Ducker, back in 1988. So come with me whilst we have a talk to Ned, and he will tell us how it all started back in 1929.
For this great land we've just found.
Here we are at Ned's residence. Also with Ned is two of our club's stalwarts in the first 30 years of its foundation, Mr. Jack Bosselman, Mr. Alf Hines. Now Alf, would you like to ask Ned a few questions about our early days?
Well, Ned, we've come a long way since 1929.
My word.
Remember that lovely evening we had for the anniversary of the 50th? Remember when you came down to the new club rooms?
Yeah.
How did it all begin?
Well, it began in a sort of... There wasn't enough boys in the district. And they're all unemployed, local lads, mostly Australians. And, of course, the game was South or East Fremantle, footy.
Yes.
Well, I was a new chum to that. I didn't know anything about that. I said, well, I'm a soccer player, but if we can get enough of 11 boys, well, what about forming a soccer team, and I'll teach you what I know. That's how it all started. And they were quite enthusiastic about it.
Yes.
We used to soccer ball, and then we got the old RSL hall in Spearwood for our meeting rooms, and then we started having our little meetings and decided what colours we'd have, black and white, and what would we do? Join the league first, so I suggested friendlies, playing friendly matches with the clubs. So that's how it all started, playing friendly matches.
Because this was during the time of the Depression. And
oh, yeah, well, yes, it was really.
money were pretty tight.
There'll be on the little photograph I've given Alan, I might be what the only one working, I think. Oh, Egan. Is anybody else now will be working there? There were very few lads working at all.
They're all on about 10 bob a week, weren't they? If you could get that 10 bob a week and
You were
board.
down, lucky. Well, I was lucky. I was with Mayor and Brindle.
You were earning £1.
Yeah, no, I think I got more than that. And might have been about 30 bob we can keep. But a lot of, I mean, say, you take, what do I call him there? What's his name?
Northern North End?
No, well, they weren't in the district then.
Oh no, they came a year or two later.
Yeah, they came a little after, do you see? And we used to get some hidings at soccer. Used to get some hidings. I used to be run thin, you know, because I was playing centre half in those days, which you never hear of now. Running and, you know, and giving them encouragement and telling them what to do. But anyhow, we got through that season. I might have done 2 years of friendly matches.
What year did you come to Australia?
In 1928,
I see.
in October 1928. And my first work was out at Speedwood, and I stayed out in Speed for about 6 years.
And how did you come to leave England? And then was it
No work at all. What was I? Joined the police force, joined the army, which my father was against. So I said, well, I'll go to Australia. I had the chance to go to Canada to join the mounted police.
That House of Hyams near Beale Park, with the big pine trees there, that used to be a resting place for a lot of the fellows coming. There was North End, at least you didn't go there, but there was Sid Schofield started out down there, didn't he?
Yeah, it was the Hyams, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I think Norman
went to, did he go there too?
He worked for Andy Bailey.
He went with old Andy.
Bailey, yeah.
You remember old Andy?
Yeah, of course that chemist, who was that chemist that went to Balloon? Norm Davey. He was staying here at the same time too, wasn't he? He wasn't a soccer player though. I don't know when he...
No, I wouldn't know, can't replace him now.
No.
But there was 1 or 2 players in the photograph. I can't remember their names now. Faces, yes, but names, oh dear.
Getting back to the old country, did you ever get back there?
I've never got back.
No.
Well, when depression started to hit West Australia, well, our wages dropped down.
Yes.
To the finish, I was working for just my keep.
Yes.
For Mayor and Brindle's mind.
Yes.
Working for me keep.
Yes.
But they were good people. They studied the local, like we'll take the Stricker family. I suppose you remember them.
Yes.
Well, she was a widow
Yes.
with 3 boys and a girl.
Yes.
Well, they naturally kept Tom on, but he was young.
Yes.
Because George Hagan he was sort of manager sort of business. Then Jackie May was coming on after son.
And for how many years did you play for Spearwood?
Oh, gee, it must have been 6 years. Easy 6 years.
Yes, you were captain for some time.
I was captain till, I think, who followed me? I think Norm. Norm was captain. Of course, we had a little bit, like all clubs, there's always a lot of jealousy.
Yes.
When other players improve and other good players come along.
What good players could you mention?
Well, in my candid opinion, I think the best player we ever had was Jimmy Mackay. I don't know where you can place Jimmy.
Yes.
I reckon he had it there and he had it in his feet too.
Yes.
He was a Scotchman.
Yes.
But by geez, he was shrewd, very shrewd player.
Yes.
Yes, he was a good player.
Yes, I can remember him playing out at West Perth there one day, and he couldn't get his head to it, and he punched it
Raise
into
his hand. I often remember that. Oh, he had all the tricks on.
the only one other bloke that did that was Alan Beale, and he punched one against the jury, I think it was.
Another thing, was it? Well, I was playing halfback at the time, throwing the ball in, and Jimmy turned his back to me.
Hit him on the back.
Devil, what do you do that for? Of course, I didn't actually throw it at his back. So he said, what you did? Why didn't you hit it and hit me on the back? He said, no, they turned round and got it. I said, never ever thought of that, you know. That was a tricky one, that to me.
Yeah, of course, the ball had stopped dead on his feet, wouldn't it?
That's right.
Yeah.
God, it was funny. You know.
Getting back to the very primitive grounds that we had in those days,
Well,
I think they were they were just made possible by the busy bee efforts.
That's right. Oh, they were a great asset to the club.
Yeah.
Well, it just shows you how
You had to
the
work
district
for every
became, you know, enthusiastic about the soccer.
Yeah.
The boys were even going teaching the school boys.
Yes.
I don't know whether you did that.
I was taught by Billy Hamlet
Billy Hamlet,
and Billy Anderson.
Billy
They
Anderson.
came to the Spearwood School when I was
Yeah,
about
yeah.
12 and taught us how to kick a ball.
That's right.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
yeah.
Yes.
Well, Billy Anderson was quite a good little player in his style.
Yes.
He was definitely a winger. That's all. I always put him down.
Yeah.
That's where he's shown as a winger.
And getting, let's talk about the influence that Bill Stroyer had.
Now there's a man that should have been more recognised, really. I think Bill put his heart and soul in that club, and yet he was an ex-footy player.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, but he did a lot to encourage our
my
generation
word,
and
he
his
did.
transportation.
Another fellow did a good job. You probably never heard him mentioned. Schenk. He was
Tony Shank.
He was shelled with Carter.
Yes.
And then there was the other.
He died at a young age.
Oh,
though.
Davy, you remember Davy Smart with the one arm?
Yes.
He used to use his truck, you know, take it
Yes.
away.
Yes, he only died last
And we
year.
used to get 2 truckloads to go away, you know.
Yeah.
2 truckloads to go away. Follow the club. Even when we're getting hiding, used to
Yes.
come. And there was at one stage of the game, I think it would be just before the war, or was it after the war, we depended on the juniors. Play their match, tear over to where the first division was, the first team was playing, and
Yeah.
supply 2 or 3 players.
That's right. Yes.
Oh, yes, that often
Yeah.
happened.
Yes, Billy Stroyer, he was a great mentor for us, not only in soccer but in tennis, everything.
Oh, yeah,
Had his
all
own
round
tennis
it.
court.
Oh, yes.
But I can remember the days when we used to do that ground up there. I think we went up there and we had shovels and everything.
Oh, yes.
For,
Well, when I came out, I got my discharge in the army in 49. I was nearly 9 years a soldier.
Were you?
Yeah. And one of the first things was a busy bee up in the agricultural ground.
Well, we made efforts to level that ground
Yeah.
a couple of times.
And plant the grass.
The cooch.
Yeah. But we didn't play on it.
well, I reckon
we
we
burnt it.
must have worked there for 18 months a weekend.
Oh.
And Freddie Dobra used to load half the truck and we'd load the other half. and
Between
then-
all of us.
Then he'd unload half the truck and all the other 20 would undo the other half. But we used to, cut, I suppose, 15 truckloads of sand every Sunday morning for years.
Oh, yes. Well, I'll tell you what they did to me that day when I went up. I wasn't discharged, but I was staying with the Berries. They had a little barrel of beer. And of course, I suppose you be in it. Got to get Ned drunk.
He probably
And by
organised
gee,
it.
they did too. You shouldn't
I
have been.
remember Frank Bassett's plonk being in attendance up there too. He used to come up with his flagon and help us out.
Nice fellow, young Jack. I like Jackie.
Yes, that well that was at the fruit growers there,
Yeah.
that was there for years and years with no water in it, and we had to go up there and we had to put a great big hume pipe in the top of it.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was about, I suppose, 8 feet across
Yeah.
before we could do any work down
Well,
below.
I might have been still in the army then.
Yeah, that was immediately after the war.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
where Frank Bassage came into it with his plonk. He
Oh, yeah.
always had a flagon of the blue ale there, and a little bit of water and a little bit of plonk, and quite a pleasant way of
Was always there at half time too, Jack.
yeah.
Oh, he's a good lad, Jackie. I think he thought a lot of me, Jackie. Because every time we used to go down to the club, he used to be the first one to come and see us.
Yes.
He was a pub down there.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Well, all those, taking all in all, we had some damn good players. I've got to say that.
Well, I think a
Even
lot
the
of thanks
junior
has
school
been given to you, Ned, for your efforts in getting the club
growing.
going in the first place
That's where
and providing this sort of entertainment
Oh, yes.
for the district at that time. And along with the Parents and Citizens Association,
Yeah.
and it
Well,
provided the social life of the district.
Oh, yes. Now, little dances there was to run in cohesion with the tennis club.
Yes, yes.
Didn't make much money, but it always kept it paid the referee.
A lot of fun though, Ned.
Yeah. Well, I mean, say, we were an amateur club because we all had to buy our own socks and shorts.
Oh, yes.
We bought all them and our own boots.
Yes.
But the club did manage to get the women's auxiliary, what do you call it, the women's mothers, Church of, we call it the Mothers
Union.
Well, they made all the shirts for us.
That was the Anglicans.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Mr. Mayor played a big part now.
Yeah, oh yeah, Mrs. May,
Yes,
Mrs. Dowse, and
that's right.
oh yeah, they did a big part.
Now, do you remember the fancy dress ball you went to with a girl I left behind me with a dummy girl on your back of you? Do you ever remember that?
Oh gee,
Parish Hall Field, I can remember that as clear as a bell, Ned. That was pre-war.
oh yeah, it would be too, oh gee. Lots of things, they come back now as I'm sitting in bed, you know.
Yes.
I think of these little people's names and I just can't remember.
Anyhow, Ned, more than thank you for letting us talk to you. It's been such a pleasure.
Yeah.
And to you, Alf, thanks for coming along.
Lovely to
And
come.
also for you, Jack.
Oh, very
I
nice.
can
I
assure you,
was glad to have met
you
him.
three gentlemen with the stalwarts of our club,
Yeah.
the foundation.
What about
the first
this
30
fella
years of the
here?
club.
What about Alan? I reckon
Tremendous.
he's doing a tremendous job, Alan.
Oh yes, Alan's taken over the thread since because it must be 20 years since I had anything to do with the club, and Alan's been going the whole time.
Yeah, I tell you, he kept it going after the war.
Great credit.
Oh yes, my word.
I think it's involved a lot of people, Ned, and even to the present day committee and so forth. They all work hard.
Yeah.
But anyhow, once again, the three of you, it's been a pleasure interviewing you. A pleasure filming you. And all I can say is
It was a nice day. Let us thank Ned for his devotion to the game he loved. He would be proud of you all and have carried on with the vision he had for soccer in Cockburn back in 1929. Ned passed away the following year after the interview. He was in his 80s. Ned would be a very proud man who could see the facilities, the game journal as it is today in Cockburn. God bless Ned and you all. Bye for now.